Hello, I'm John C. Craig. I'm a writer in the thriving metropolis of Anza, California. Population 7,000, holding steady. And we're doing a series of YouTube videos, first on writing, and we're going to morph into um, landscape architecture, and finally into um, environmentalism. This video is going to be titled Publishing Horror Stories. And I don't want to turn it into a bitch fest. So if I get off track, somebody slap me. Just reach through that screen and give me a good slap. Okay, my first book, Desert Landscape Architecture. I sent it out 86 times before I got an acceptance. Academic publisher. Sent them everything. Charles Sappington did all the photography, stellar. And about 6 months later, they sent me the photos. They were out of focus. They were muddy. I didn't like them. I said it. They came back and said, "Oh, they're fine. No, you don't know what you're talking about." Well, then I waited around for the galleys. The galleys never came. The next thing I know, they sent me a copy of the book. "How many author copies do you want?" Well, I didn't want any. I wasn't very pleased with the book. I saw a lot of areas where if I would have just been sent the galleys, I could have made a difference. I sincerely believe that. Priced the book at $100. No color photography. It was doomed before it got off the presses. Anyway, let me say this about book contracts. You need to read them. And let me say about contracts in general. Unless they're an idiot, anybody writing a contract is going to write that contract to favor them. And you need to be on guard. In this case, concerning the galleys, they said I was to return any galleys they sent me, but they didn't send me any, and then it wasn't. So that was that. They didn't say they were going to. They just said if they did, return them. So now the book's in print. It's not going to change. I ordered my 50 author copies. Go out, distribute them, admittedly to people I thought could help my career. Got 2 thank yous. There's not a lot of appreciation in this business. You got to accept that. The book's a good book. Now it's 25 years later, it's still for sale, priced at $3.12. You can go to Abe Books and buy a good used copy for $12. And I hope you do. It's a damn good book. Never got its due. Okay, well, live and learn. So then I figure that's as good as I'm going to get from a traditional publisher. I'll publish myself. And I did my environmental trilogy in 2005, 2006. If you go to the video on covers, you'll see what they look like. Well, didn't work out. It turned out, I thought this was going to qualify me as a staunch environmentalist, knew what the hell he was doing. It's going to launch me. By this point in my life, I'd be receiving, those royalties would be rolling in. Well, turned out I couldn't give the books away. Back in November, we decided to move to a smaller place, downsize, get into something cheaper. We're getting older. This happens to a lot of old folks. I had boxes in my environmental trilogy. And I hate to admit this. To the dump they went. And I did them with a hybrid publisher. I spent $30,000, $10,000 a book. And I'm throwing them in the shredder. Is that all there is? If that's all there is, let's keep dancing. Every time a box hit the bottom of the shredder, bang! It was like a bullet shot to my heart. Well, take it on the chin, baby. The next thing I produced was Ravings from the High Chaparral. Charles Sappington did the cover. Well, there were production problems. You see this on the left? Well, there was page after page of it. When you have to be your own editor, you have to be your own proofreader, you might miss something, especially early on. So, I don't really talk much about Ravings. I did get a blurb from Earl McElfresh out of my hometown of Olean, which I thought was a great blurb. At least it was a major ego stroke. John is from my small town of Olean in western New York. It is a unique place, a grimy industrial city set in a singularly beautiful valley surrounded by what our brochures call the Enchanted Mountains. When John left, its population was starting to drain miserably away, numbed by the endless winters and limp from the humid summers. Take a squinty-eyed, edgy kid raised in this mercurial environment, marinate him in the bewildering, balmy, bucolic evil of Southern California, give him the care gift of writing with a staccato, whatever that means, conversational verve of a late-night TV comedian, and you have the literary works of John C. Krieg, Earl McElfresh, author of Maps and Makers of the Civil War. I could use about 100 Earl McElfreshes, so thank you. So then I swore off of self-publishing. I'm not going to do it. It's not going anywhere, and I'm making mistakes left and right. And the entrenched elite in this business, no matter what they say, they look down their noses at people that self-publish. So off we go. I get a conventional publisher, but I had to contribute a little money, so it wasn't really conventional. And this is a book cover I got. I sent her Charles's work, the cover I wanted. She couldn't do it, although everybody else on the planet had no problem with it. She said we didn't know what the hell we were doing, she just couldn't do it. So she made this cover, and she foisted it upon me. I hate this friggin' cover. Just hate it. Anyway, the stories that are contained within, I think they're pretty good. Again, I had to do all the proofreading, and I made some mistakes. So, I mean, how much their editing process really helped me when it's always up to me in the end is a matter of conjecture. Okay, let's fast forward to 2024. I write children's book, children's middle grade YA, whatever you want to call it, Luke the Legendary Bloodhound. It's a picture book. I have to find an artist. I go to Reedsy. Reedsy's a pretty good website. I got a good artist, Mia Kimball. I sent her a box of books with Post-its on all the pictures of the animals and plants I was describing. Gave her some ideas. She did a bang-up job. I sent it out. It got rejected about 40 times. Finally, this one company accepted it. Well, it languished there for 18 months. I had to write them and say, look at the contract. It says you don't do anything in 18 months, I can cancel. I'm canceling. See you later, thanks for nothing. Okay. Then I do an environmental climate change book, The Awakening, a brief guide to surviving climate change. Hired a photographer that Dave suggested, who did a good job. His photos were okay, his captions were very good. The editor comes back, and they make me wait a year. Then she comes back. You're full of shit, Krieg. You're going to change this, or you're going to hit the bricks. Well, their way or the highway. Now, I got to pay back my author advance of $1,000 to free my book. I'll bring it out, but things are changing so fast, they're dated, I'll have to do updates. But I'll bring it out. So I guess the whole thing in this tale of woe and remorse is, if you're going to self-publish, you better be a good editor. And there's millions of books on Amazon that are self-published. Unless you have that marketing inroads, or you really want to get out there and beat the bushes. For instance, no bookstore is going to order a book from Amazon. It's just against policy. So my dream of walking into a bookstore someday, seeing my book in the window, you know, and everybody excited, it's not going to happen. So I got about 6 manuscripts that are constantly being rejected. I know the odds are really bad self-publishing them, but I'm 75. At most, I probably got 5 years left. Got 4 heart stints in my chest. When you have a career in contracting, there's a lot of stress. Contractors are the linebackers of the business world. They'll hit you harder than necessary because they can and because they enjoy doing it. It was basically hell. Learned a lot, but it took a toll. So I'm going to bring these books out because I'm going to dedicate them to people I care about. I'm going to throw them up on my website. But I still submit to agents, I still submit to publishing houses, and I still get rejected. Well, boo-hoo. You know, too bad, so sad. If you believe in yourself as a writer, you can just leave all these dead manuscripts in a file cabinet, in a box, and keep writing, and maybe you'll hit, and I hope you do. But these are my horror stories, and I'm sticking to them, and I hope you learned something from them. And with that, I'll close by saying, a writer writes.